So the cross is being used as a symbol of Christianity, and there are quite a lot of reasons why people use the cross. But is the cross a true symbol of Christianity? So I've been able to put down 6 reasons why people use the cross as a symbol of Christianity. And we'll also be looking at the reasons to see if they are valid reasons or not. So before we get to the video proper, I want to talk to the Catholics who might be watching this video just in case it blows up. This is not to talk you down or talk down your beliefs or to humiliate you. Rather, this is just me reasoning with you. So, out of the 6 reasons why people worship the cross, use the cross as a symbol of Christianity, I'll also be sharing 6 responses why those reasons are not valid. So, without wasting much time, get to the video. But I'd also want to advise that you drop your comments um, below respectfully as well. Let's reason together. Let's be open, talk about this even more. The first reason here on the list is that the cross is a sign of victory over death and that it represents the belief in Jesus' resurrection. So the common statement when it gets towards the Easter period is that he has risen. He is no longer on the cross. He is alive. You know, he has resurrected and all of that. So does the cross actually represent Jesus' victory over death? The answer is no. So if we're being really honest and realistic, Jesus did not resurrect from the cross. You know, he was not on the cross during his resurrection. As a matter of fact, he was dead. He was kept, you know, and was guarded. What should we do? Should we make a carving of a tomb and say, okay, we're going to use this as a remembrance or as a sign that Jesus is no longer there? But some people will often say the cross, the tomb, they are all similar, so we can use one for the other. But that is actually not correct. So it's not a sign of victory over death as it's been, portrayed, because he died on the cross. He lost the battle on the cross. The main thing, his resurrection happened in the site where he was buried. So that is not a sign to show that he was victorious over death. So for the second reason is it's the cross. Sorry, I'm going to be looking downwards because I have a book here where I wrote down these reasons and I'll be responding to them. So the second reason is that it's a symbol of God's love, that the cross is seen as the ultimate sign of God's love and grace for mankind. And the answer to this is no. The cross was actually a place of rejection. The cross was where Jesus was forgotten, was abandoned. The cross was a place where an innocent man became sin for us who knew no sin. It was a place of pain, suffering. It was a place where criminals were supposed to be, where the evil guys were supposed to be. Cursed is anyone who is hanged on a tree. That was it. And he hung there for us, for our sake. So it's really not a place of God's love. God left Jesus on the cross. His ears were far from him because his ears are shut to those who do evil. His eyes are away from those who do evil. So that was actually not a place that signified his love because he was abandoned. It signified rejection, it signified condemnation, it signified judgment. So that's not a valid reason for using the cross. The third one on the list is it is a mark of identity. So wearing or displaying the cross shows that you belong to the Christian faith. And a lot of people wear the cross as a mark to show that they are Christians to others. So what happens when another religion also have a cross that they wear? How do we differentiate them? How do we tell who is a true Christian? You see, the work that Jesus Christ did was more spiritual than it was physical. Yes, he had to go through all those battles so that we can know a lot of the work was more of a spiritual work. The salvation that we have is not a physical salvation, it's spiritual. So we don't have to wear anything to prove that we are saved. You know, we have to walk in newness of life. That is what shows that we are changed, we are born again, not what the cross that we put on. It does not signify that we are Christians. However, if we have the life of God in us, if we are changed, we've repented, and we walk in newness, we see that life affecting every area of our lives. So it affects the clothes that we put on, the places that we go, the friends that we keep, the things that we call pleasure. It begins to come out. So the fruits begin to reveal itself. So it is not a mark of Christianity. The Christianity is not a physical thing. It's not a physical thing. It's a spiritual relationship between God and you. The fourth the fourth reason is that it's a symbol of Jesus' sacrifice. That the cross reminds us of Christ's death for humanity. Yes, truly Jesus Christ paid the price on the cross. So he hung there and was made sin for us who knew no sin. This reason from the emotional point of view it's very valid because this was more like a symbol of his sacrifice for us, the pain and the suffering that he went through for the death of humanity. More like a caricature to remember, all that he went through. But Jesus is no longer on the cross. He is alive, you know. He's living. He's with us. And he can also be in you. The cross was not just the only thing that, Jesus went through. He went through a lot of pain. He went through, the spear on his side, the crown of thorns, and every other thing. This doesn't mean that we should use them as a mark or symbol of Christianity. He went through all of those sufferings, and even some, I believe, that were not recorded in the scriptures. But that is not the main goal. The process is important, but the final product is even more important. So why do you put so much importance on, you know, the things that was used? The spear that was used to touch his sides, crown of thorns, the um the nails that were used that were driven into his hands, his foot. Why do you pay so much attention on that and forget the person who is in fact alive today and seated on the right hand of God? So if this is a symbol of Jesus' sacrifice, then what is the symbol of Jesus' current state? Because he's seated on the right hand of the Father. Does this mean that we should now, carve an image of Jesus seated on a throne? No, those are not important. So the fifth one is that it's a call to discipleship and reminds Christians of Jesus' call to take up their cross and follow him. But when we mean take up your cross and follow, it does not mean that you should, you know, carve a cross and take it up everywhere you go and follow. It means that you're following Jesus or you're a follower of Jesus. No. That is an expression. So what it means is you're not going to set your affections on the beautiful, the good things of life. Your life should mirror God. You're living your life to please God. Your entirety Everything that you're doing is for the reverence of God, is for the service of God. This is what it means by taking up your cross. It's not a physical, symbolic thing. So, the sixth and final one on the list is that the cross is a tool for prayer and reflection. That the cross is used as a visual aid for meditation, for devotion, and for remembrance. So, for prayer and reflection, this is also not a valid reason. We were never instructed to pray to the cross or to pray with the cross. Like I said, Jesus is no longer on the cross, and we're to look unto God. We're to look unto Christ. We're to have faith. We're to walk in faith. And let Jesus be the author and finisher of your faith. Prayer should go to God through Jesus, for he is now the mediator between God and man. So this is who we're praying to. We don't need anything to hold up, to look at, to pray. We're walking by faith. So this is a dispensation where we walk by faith. We don't walk after symbols or um, effigies or what have you. So you pray and you believe that God has answered you. And this was what Jesus was trying to demonstrate, all his time on earth. So this is not a tool for prayer. As a matter of fact, when this becomes a prayer aid, when you pray to it, you are making this an idol. And you don't have to emotionally reflect on a carved stick. If you can pray with it, maybe you should also get a carved crown of thorns, a carved nail, hammer, and all of that to symbolize everything he went through. He has gone past that stage. He is seated on the right hand of God, interceding on your behalf. So there's no need for all of these. Yeah, the process is important, but do not forget the final result. That is the main reason why the process was there in the first place. So do not place so much importance on that process that you forget why everything had to happen. So until the next video, see you. But make sure to drop a comment in a civilized, respectful manner. Let's discuss. And of course, we're going to talk deeply about that as we go on. See you on the next video.